Hey friends, Mindy here. I have a little process video for you today. I get asked quite a bit about what I do with my leftovers from my By the Will for God kits. And so today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some ephemera for a journal that I'm going to be creating. I have quite a bit of stuff left over. I did order a couple of extra things when this kit released. This is the Remnants of Consider Jesus devotional kit. And so what I'm going to do is just create a junk journal using some of these items. For today, I'm just going to work on creating some of the ephemera that's going to go in that journal. And then I will work on the cover and completing everything. But I just kind of wanted to show you, in case you have some leftover bits and pieces around and you'd like to just make some ephemera that maybe you could use in a future Bible journaling page or a journal, or just for Happy Mail or for whatever reason, making ephemera is just fun sometimes. So I thought I would share that. So what I'm going to be using is, like I said, my leftover kits. I have a lot of ephemera pieces. I have some some stickers that were left. A lot of the little mini stickers that I didn't hardly use at all this time. And I had gotten an extra set of those as well. So I do have some of the kit stickers as well, just a bunch of bits and pieces. And then I went through my my subscription kit from A House of Books. It's a vintage ephemera kit, and I have just a bunch of odds and ends that I thought I could make some interesting ephemera out of. So I have just some little file things. I have this this is just a vintage envelope. There's not a letter or anything in it, so I'm actually going to use this. I just like the fact that this it's from 1959 and it's from Canada, so I thought that would be fun. Then just a vintage envelope, a little postcard. This will make a good journaling spot because there's a stamp here, but there's nothing else on this postcard, so I can use this kind of however I want. I may use this in this journal. I'm not sure. It kind of goes with the colors, and then I can just literally just kind of tuck it in somewhere as a journaling card. And then I came across this as something I've just had in my stash for a long time, so I will probably use the library pocket, and I can decorate this up, and this will just make a little journaling spot. And then this is like a little trifold situation. I thought I could collage something over the front here and then kind of use this as for some hidden journaling on a page. And then I have this card that's talking about information about an onion. So, but what I wanted to do is I can actually just cover this and use this as a journaling card. It's a good heavy weight that I can collage on or do whatever. So this may or may not make it in. We'll see. And then another one of these kind of manila file dividers. This is a pretty thick one, so I may just cut it down instead of trying to fold it because it would be pretty bulky if I did that. We'll see. But even just collaging, this would be a great place to do like a collage masterboard or whatever. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to be working on, but I just thought I would put you on fast forward, and I'm going to work on some of these pieces, trying to use up some of my ephemera. And then this will be basically part one, and then in the next few days I'll do another part where we actually put the journal together. You can see how all of these pieces will go in there. So I'm going to put you on fast forward and get started. Okay, so I'm going to start with this little file folder situation here that's got this little yellow piece on the side. And I found this little scrap of paper that's just the perfect size for this, and so I'm going to use that. But I wanted to add a little bit of something else on there as well. So I'm pulling out some hymnal paper, and I'm just going to tear this down and glue this on here. I'm not worried about that little tab on the right side. I'm just going to kind of work around that. I'm not going to cover it or anything. And then I was trying to decide how I wanted to kind of glue this down. I decided to use my Yoo-hoo glue stick here for this piece, and I'm just making sure that that kind of edge of the paper where it's blank is off there, and then I'll trim that down. And then I'm going to add this paper from the devotional kit here over on the left side, just kind of eyeballing where I want that to go, and then I will trim everything down. I did burnish that down just a little bit because this paper from By the Well is so so thick. I wanted to make sure that it was glued down really well, especially because I was using that Yoo-hoo glue stick. And then I had this little piece that I had cut off, and I thought the backside would look really pretty with this as well. So I'm just going to add another layer here. I just tore it so it would have a rough edge there on the right side, and I didn't worry about the left. I'm just kind of plopped it right down on the middle, and then I'm going to add this ephemera piece. This is from the devotional kit that was left over. I did trim off a little bit of the white, and then I distressed the edges of that with some archival ink in a ground espresso. And then I'm just going to trim off some of these excess areas back here on the back, and then I'm going to go around the entire card with that same ink, and I'll do that basically with everything that I create today. So if you don't see me doing it, that's what I have inked. I just didn't feel like making you watch me distress everything. So I did add some glue to this little trifold section, and I have this piece of coffee paper that I want to be using that was from my stash from this devotional kit. This was one of my favorite papers. So I wanted to use it on there, and then I just trimmed it around so that I could keep the that rounded edge. And then on the inside, I just want to add a little bit of something on this flap here. I'm not going to decorate all of the inside because I really want this to be for journaling, like hidden journaling, but I did want to do this flap. So I'm just going to add a little bit of pattern paper. This again is from the By the Well kit. Everything that I'm using today is leftovers from that. So I just trimmed down this piece so I would have a rectangle that would kind of fit on here. And I used that plank, like the wood board or wood plank paper. I'm just going to glue that in there. I did leave a little bit of an edge on there. And then I'm going to add this ephemera piece over here on the right side just to give it a little bit of interest when you open up this flap. I had thought about putting magnets or something to make a closure, but then I thought it might get weird to write over. So I do want to add something here to kind of help keep this closed, which I will do in a second. But I felt like this left-hand side here, it just needed a little bit of something. So I'm using the stencil. This was the coffee ring stencil that released it By the Well. And I'm just going over it with basically whatever ink is still left on my little makeup blender here. I wanted to keep this really light because I want you to be able to write over the top of it. I didn't want it to be distracting, but I did want it to just give a little bit of visual interest. It's really kind of hard to see on camera, but after going through multiple of the ephemera pieces, I settled on this coffee cup just to keep this really kind of simple. I can always decorate this more later if I choose to, but what I'm going to do is put this in this bottom left-hand corner to work as a closure. So I'm only gluing this left side of it. I really wanted to put that on the edge of the so that it would kind of be in the center, but because there really was not a whole lot of space between the left edge and where that rounded part came through, I just didn't feel like it would be very sturdy, so I just went ahead and moved it down to the bottom. So I'm just going to leave that little coffee cup down there for the closure. And now I'm going to work on this little library pocket. This one was just something I had had in my stash for a while. And so the library pocket is like a cream color, but the library card that's in it is white. So I'll deal with that here in just a second. But I went to the sticker pack. This was actually the extra sticker pack that came in the devotional. So I have, both the stickers that came from the devotional, and I also am working with the extra sticker pack that they released this month. So I love that they're doing that now. You just get a lot of variety that way. And so I added one of those little like faux washi strips down across the bottom, and I'm going to use one of the stickers from those sticker sheets here as well. And then it kind of stuck up over the top. And so what I did is I just burnished that down, and then I'm going to just, instead of cutting it off, I'm just going to cut to like basically reopen that pocket. And that way it just gives it a little bit of interest, and I didn't lose the design. So if you pull out the card, you can still kind of see that there. I just thought it was a fun little detail. And then this journaling card now I'm going to deal with, the library pocket. First I need to knock back some of the white on here. So I'm just using, again, whatever ink is left on my blender here. It's going to be some kind of brown. So, and then I'm going to go through now and actually use the archival ink to get a good impression down here in this bottom left-hand corner. Just some little coffee rings again, and then a little section up here. I don't want to put too much on there to make it too busy so that it distracts if you want to use it as a journaling spot. So I'm just going to leave it kind of like that, although I did feel like it needed just a little bit of something else. But again, I don't want to take away too much from the writing space of it. So what I'm going to do is use one of these long washies. This was in that extra sticker pack. And there's one that you can kind of, the design is such that you can turn it this way and you don't really feel like you're losing, messing up the orientation of it. So it's just some flowers. And I'm just running that down the left side just to give it a little bit of interest, and you can still obviously see through it because it's a clear sticker. So and then I want to add, I just felt like it needed just a little bit of something else on the actual pocket. So I went to the little mini stickers now, and I'm just going to pull out one of these little floral arrangements and tuck it over here in this left hand corner up there. And I can still, when I'm going through this journal, add to these pieces. I can add a word or a label or something to decorate them further. But these makes it, so they're pretty much ready to go. They're, if you leave them like this, they're fine. If you want to add something, you certainly could. And so next I'm working on this envelope that's already folded in half, and I have cut down this piece of ephemera. I just trimmed off some of the white, and I wanted to add some hymnal paper behind there, but I just felt like it was a little bit too distracting. So I went with some paper that I had in my stash. This is from my A House of Book subscription. And I just like this because it didn't have words. It was just the music itself. And so I'm going to add that here on the back. But I'm also being careful to kind of leave most of that, the company name up there in the top left-hand side. I'm going to cover some of it up with the ephemera piece, but I did like the fact that some of that was kind of peeking through there. Since this is a vintage envelope, I just thought that would be fun to kind of leave it. You certainly put like a piece of ephemera, in such a way that you would cover it if you wanted to. But I left it like that specifically. I did want to leave part of that on there. So just going to add this on here. I needed a little bit more glue for some of these edges. And then I will work on the other side. So I have another scrap of paper. This is from when I was working on the devotional. I just kept all my scraps in a little bin while I was working, and I want to add some decaling. This is the Tim Holtz decal trimmer. And then I'm going to ink the edge of that, and I'm just going to make a little pocket. I wanted to keep the postage and the stamp on there. So I'm going to just add a little pocket, but I wanted to kind of cover, I'm going to go ahead and cover the address. So I just going to kind of strategically place this so that I can keep the part that I want. And then I'm just adding some glue around the three sides and making a little pocket down here that I will add something into. So this little piece is going to end up holding quite a bit because there's going to be several pockets that you can use. But it's kind of hard to see on camera, but that Canadian stamp is like a light blue, so it works with that. And this is a journaling card that I have had in my stash for a while. It was something that I made from a collage masterboard, and it was just all in neutrals. And so there's even actually some like coffee stain on like stamping on there. So I decided I would go ahead and use that. I had to trim it down just a little bit to fit inside this pocket, and then I'm just going to round all of the corners and it will just kind of tuck in there. I do feel like I want to add something that's going to tie it together. So I pulled out one of the little clear stickers and I added that over onto some coffee dyed paper. Just, you could do it over white certainly if you wanted to, but just I needed the sticker to be opaque. So I added it over the coffee dyed paper so that it would kind of blend in better, and then just glued that in that left corner there. That way you can write on the front if you want to, but also on the back as well. And so that's that little envelope piece. So now I'm going to work on this postcard, and originally I thought this would be a really good like journaling spot or whatever. And then I decided to make a little like wraparound situation. I think I first learned this or first saw this on Gail Augustinelli's channel. She is a junk journaler if you don't know who she is. And so a lot of this idea of this kind of wraparound pocket came from watching her channel. So I want to give her that credit. But this card, it was going to be too long if I wanted to keep it, horizontal. So I had to score it. And then when I did that, because it's vintage, I pressed a little too hard and I cracked the paper. So I'm just using some more of the By the Well little like faux washi. I just added that right over the top and it just fixed it just fine. So I'm going to add a little piece of ephemera here on the back side so that when I glue it down into the journal, there will be some decoration here, but I'm only obviously gluing this kind of on the right side. And then depending on how I glue this into my journal, I can use that as a tuck spot, or I can just glue it straight down and it will just look like decoration. So I do have this ephemera piece for the other side here. I felt like this one went really well with the kind of the color from that printed area on this postcard. So I trimmed that down a little bit. I wanted to trim some of that white off of there. And then I wanted to use one of these labels as well. I have a few of these left over from the kit as well. So these are on white sticker paper, so I want to knock that back. I just did that same thing. I just used whatever ink was still left on my blender, and then I glued that down, and I can add my little ephemera piece. That way you can still you have a little bit of room to write on there, and then when I glue this into the journal, I'll be able to tuck like a tag or something into there. So that will just kind of decorate this little piece up. And then I wanted to add just a little bit of interest. So I went in with this other stencil that By the Well released for last month. And it's just really, really subtle in the background. But I just wanted to have just a little bit more interest. And then I'm going to go around and ink everything. And then you can kind of see this is how it will kind of tuck on a page. I can use it as a tuck spot there. Or on this other side, I'll be able to tuck one of these tags in there that has... I just coffee dyed those. So that's kind of the idea with that one. And then I have this vintage envelope that I want to use. Another paper left over from working through the devotional kit. And I'm just going to go ahead and glue this down. This was one of my favorite papers. I really liked this paper, but I want to add some of that decaling to this as well. You could certainly tear it. This just works really well to get like a finer deckled edge on there. And then I will ink that just to give it a little bit more interest. I know I was trying to cut out most of that, so sorry if that is boring to watch me ink something. But anyway, I'm just going to kind of glue this down. And originally I thought I would glue this down to make it into a pocket so I could tuck something. And then when I glued the ephemera piece down, I kind of made that impossible. So, I just was kind of decorating on the fly, I guess. But I do have this ephemera piece that I want to use. So I'm going to trim the edge of that and ink it. And so I'm just going to glue it down here. And then you can see I'm gluing it right over the pocket edge. So I guess I could still use like that top section. If I had something really skinny, I could still tuck something in there. But the inside was one of the things that I actually struggled with a little bit, because I thought about adding some paper, which you could certainly do to decorate with the inside, and kind of close the envelope area up just a little bit. But because of how it's going to wrap in the journal, I was afraid you wouldn't be able to get in and out of it very easily. So I'm just going to leave that part open. And I went to the clear stickers again and added a little bit of the washi down there at the bottom, and then one of the little stickers up in the top right hand corner. And then I'm just going to add this ephemera piece and keep this inside pretty simple. And then I'll just be able to tuck something inside there. Okay, so I just want to recap really quickly about the things that I made today for the journal that I'm going to be creating. So this is just a little index card. Basically, it's just going to be a journaling spot that I just use the paper with. And this was something that I actually just pulled out of my stash. This was from a project I had done in December. I just pulled it out so that I would remember that I had it. I may or may not use it, but the colors match okay. So I might put it in there. We'll see. This is the pocket that I created that's going to kind of wrap around the page. But I did add a couple journaling cards here that I created. These were things that I had in my stash that I had created from collage master boards a while back. And then I just added the ephemera pieces on here. So there's one on that side, and then this one as well. This one was a more recent collage master board. Just added an ephemera piece, and then on the back I have room to journal. And then depending on how I glue this down, I may be able to actually get another pocket in there as well. we'll just see how that works when I glue that down. And then this is going to be another pocket. So this will, you know, kind of go around the page like this. And then I can make this a tuck spot here. And then I will probably glue this down so that a tag can fit up there in the top. And I actually think I saw this idea on Gail Augustinelli's channel, if you follow her. This was another thing I pulled out from my stash. I just added a little sticker here. This was a notepad that I created. This was part of the Defember Ember project that I did in December, where you just made a bunch of ephemera. And so this was from that, but it's because it's all really neutral. It's going to go really well in this journal. And I just added one little sticker just to kind of pull it all together. And then this is just an envelope that I created. I have, you know, this will kind of just tuck in there. I don't know if I'll leave that in there, but just to show you. And then I left this part in blank because I don't know if this is going to go behind something else. It's going to wrap around my journal, you know, my journal page like this. But I may decorate over the top of this or whatever, but I'm going to kind of wait until I get this in my journal before I decide on that. So I just decorated the inside. And then I have the library pocket with the library card in there, just with a little bit of decoration on the front. And then, of course, this is the trifold that just opens up like this. Lots of room for journaling in this one. And then this little ephemera piece acts as the closure just to keep that closed for, you know, private notes or thoughts or whatever. So those are the things that are going to go into my journal. Probably will add some other things along the way, but let me know in the comments if you would like to see how this journal comes together, or if you'd like to see me making some more ephemera like this. I will do a process video of the actual journal itself. So if you liked this video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and until next time, bye.